All right, so we'll go ahead and start dividing this up real quick. All right. There's a pork chop. You give me a duck. If I can get it off of there.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. So out of what we're eating, what is your favorite?
It's hard to say. I mean, especially when you're raising all these animals, you know, you appreciate where it came from, and that's half of it right there. And again, yeah, it kind of depends on the application. And yeah, being a chef before, I like.
You were a chef before?
I was, yeah.
Nice.
So I went to culinary school out of high school. I worked in restaurants for probably 20 years. I worked in a 3 Michelin star restaurant in Chicago. As in the front of the house, and that's kind of what sparked my interest in doing something different. I got burnt out and being stuck in a restaurant all the time.
Right.
So my wife and I wanted to move down here, so it was my plan to start up a little farm. Still work in restaurants. She was a nurse, so we could do that here. So within a year, like, it took off, and I was able to, you know, quit working in restaurants.
Nice.
But yeah, I love, like, you know, all the produce farms and everything around here, all the seasonal items that you can get. So for example, like a couple days ago, we cooked pork chops, and, like, you know, the peaches are at the end of the season right now, and they're amazing. So, like, I just pitted them, grilled peaches on the grill with the pork chops, and it was amazing.
Grilled peaches on the grill?
Yeah, they're so good. It's like candy. I know you can't have that, but it's like, but you know, that's what I'm saying. It's just there's different seasonal things and dishes that you can create with our products. So they just each have their own application.
I like this pork chop.
Yeah, I mean, I love the pork chops. I love.
I was scared of over salting it because I've been known to do that with pork chops, and I hope I didn't over salt yours because my salt, like, I require a little bit more salt.
I do too. I like having,
you like salty stuff. Okay.
I like it right on the edge of too salty.
I don't know if I did or not. I used the smoked salt, which is like really flaky, as you know, so it's kind of hard to judge how much you're using. But this shit's really good.
Thank you. Yeah, good cook on it.
It's how do I explain it? The texture of the meat, like this spot right here, looks different than this spot. And this spot, like, there's clearly marbleization in the pork, which is really, really good.
Yeah, definitely.
You don't usually get that. It usually just feels like one piece.
Yeah, and I noticed, like, especially if you really put a hard sear, like on the fat is really a lot more edible than.
Ooh, I just got a piece from here of straight fat. That's just like butter. Right? Yeah. Oh my god.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I just got to the good part, guys. Holy shit. And all that right there is fat. All that. Oh man. This is good.
Thank you.
That's exciting. You do good work.
Thank you.
We're not eating the eggs today, but the eggs are fire too. I got some of those about 2 weeks ago. Their eggs are on point. Oh, welcome to Carnivore's Cut. This is Jeremy Storey with Storey Farms. We are eating today, we're eating some pork chops, some chicken breast, duck confit, and bacon. And this is all not grown, but raised right here locally at his farm. And we are in Johns Island, or it's not Charleston, is it?
No, Charleston County, but Johns Island, so about 20-25 minutes from downtown Charleston.
I can't get over that. That shit's good, dude. And all I put on my meat is salt. So, like, I'm telling you, this pork is fire. And that's from somebody who is really picky about pork now. It doesn't taste, I had to put more salt on it. It doesn't taste like it's salty from the get-go. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of times they inject them with...
Really?
And that's how they can have cheaper prices, because they'll take a cut of meat and they'll inject it with brine, you know, water with salt in it. It makes it taste better, and it adds to the weight. So, you know, you might add 20%, 10, 15%. I don't know the percentages of how much weight they add to it, but yeah, you're taking, you know, you're charging for water, essentially.
Literally, water and salt.
Yep.
That's ridiculous. Yeah. I want to try the duck confit though.
Yeah, I think you'll like it. It's It's delicious.
That is really good. Mm. That's got like a sweet taste to it.
Mm-hmm.
Mm. Duck is so like oily compared to chicken.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that is so tender.
Yeah, you know, duck is a waterfowl, so there's a lot of fat on it.
I wasn't named after a duck, but my name means male duck.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Mm. So they have more fat because they're a water bird?
Yeah. Yeah, and they're you know, not as domestic as a chicken is, so you know they're meant for, you know, being in colder environments, being in the water in the winter, just to stay warm.
That's true, because when you go duck hunting in the winter, you're in waders.
Yeah,
it's cold usually.
exactly. So, but some ducks, like if you get like Jergowitz duck from Pennsylvania, that's a larger duck producer. Their duck is like super fatty, which has applications. You know, depending on what you're doing, or you know, some chefs prefer that. Some say it's too fatty. And then you have like a Maple Leaf, which is the biggest duck producer in the country out of Indiana. Theirs is a little leaner. Ours is kind of right in the middle, I would say. We don't have a ton of fat on it, but it's a nice fat layer throughout, and you can get some extra fat to render it down to do duck confit. But you know, on the breast, it's not going to be a 3/4 inch of fat on it as well. So.
You're not going to get a mouthful of fat when you
and like, you know, our birds that we raise they have a lot more freedom to roam around, so they're burning more calories, which that's typically not always desired, because
it's not as tender,
not as profitable. If you know they're burning calories, they're not
losing weight.
Yeah, they're losing weight. They're not putting it on as quickly. So
that makes sense. Mm-hmm. And that's a crazy. So that's another big thing that I've realized through all this, and another reason why it's important to kind of do this, because it's real easy for somebody to, just like we were talking about the other day, what do your chickens eat? It's real easy for somebody to like not play the victim, but to make you look like the bad guy. When in all reality, it's like, look, I'm not trying to hurt nobody. I'm just doing what I'm supposed to do. It goes back to even the big farms that are subsidized and stuff like that. They're just pleasing they're just doing their job.
And that's how I feel. There's a place for that, you know, and I do this not to be you know, a lobbyist or an activist. I do it because I love animals and I love food, and I love you know, I was a chef. I love cuisine, so you know, there's only so much you can do in the kitchen. A lot of it comes from the product itself, so I like to be on that other side of it, and I think having a kitchen background gives me a good knowledge of what to get to, and it's fun to be able to manipulate your food as you're raising it as an animal. You know,
I thought when you told me, as we spoke throughout this, you've talked about the taste and flavor a lot, and then you said something about being a chef, and I was like, oh, that makes sense. Why he's more worried about the flavor? Than so much like is this the natural super? Again, like, it doesn't have to be that. It doesn't have to. Be. Like,
and there's a place for that, and you know, I think that's great that we have farms that's what they focus on, and it helps me out when people are asking for, you know, does your feed have this and that? Yeah, it does. But I know a guy that has exactly what you need. So that's what's great. Yeah.
It's very handy. And that's another thing I find cool too, is I honestly expected there to be a lot of cutthroatness in the like farmer community. I don't see it.
There is a lot of,
I'm sure it's there,
trash talking and stuff, but you know, you quickly learn other farms to trust, to deal with. Because I mean, that's basically how it is. People that raise the same things as us, we're either really good friends with them or we don't associate them with them at all. And I've always had the philosophy of like, you know, we're all doing the same thing. There's plenty to go around. Why trash talk? Which you get that. I mean, there's a couple other egg producers that, you know, they go around and try to make sales based on trashing other farms.
Which salesmanship.
Yeah, I mean, people don't want to hear that. I mean, it's rather than, you know, other than making enemies, you're also, putting a bad taste in the chef's mouths or whoever you're doing that to.
I sold cars for a little while.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason I sold cars was because me and my girlfriend were shopping for her car.
Uh-huh.
And we were getting a Mazda. And the salesman tried to say, like, there was a moment where he said, yeah, Toyotas are just really cheap and just not. And, like, I sold Toyotas and Honda, so I agree with him. They're cheaper than they used to be. But as soon as he, like, yeah, this is better than Toyota because of this, I don't like that. And so when I sold cars, I never did that. I never did, like, this is why it's not a Hyundai. I would say that sometimes, like, but I would let them get to that conclusion.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, let them figure that this is much nicer than my car. Yeah, it's a Toyota. It's not a Hyundai. Not bashing your car.
Yeah,
but there's a difference, And
that's what our philosophy on sales is. When we go into a restaurant, unfortunately, we don't really have to do that anymore because people call us and want the product. But the days of like going in the back doors and trying to sell more product, if they're like, oh, we're already using this farm, great. Like, we don't want to step on anybody's toes, but like if you're ever in a time where they don't have enough or you need something, like just let us know. And we've picked up a lot of customers that way. And we've also picked up a lot of customers by people saying this other farm was trash talking you and we don't like that, so we're going to use you. We've picked up a lot of that. So I don't mind when people do that, trash talk us, because it's helped more than hurt.
Then it's hurt.
Yeah. And, it's like they haven't been to my farm. They haven't seen what we're doing, or we may just have different philosophies on things, but there's, different ways of doing it. And
a lot of times it's just because they haven't met you yet.
Yeah.
It's like that on social media and stuff too, is what I've noticed. It's weird how it's not like it's like a fear thing, but it's more of a unfamiliar thing. But like we get scared of things that we don't really understand, and we want to attack them. So
very true. Yeah,
I think that's kind of the case where like most times when you go to meet the people that you don't really like, you find something that you guys like together.
Yeah.
There's some way to relate to them.
Yeah.
You just don't have that relation. I think a lot of experience in life is just relationships between obviously spouse and stuff like that. You have relationships with your kids. You have relationships with your friends. Relationship in general, if you break down the word, we're all just trying to relate to each other.
Yeah.
And that's where this is cool because we're just sitting here eating. I'm a carpenter. You're a farmer.
Yeah.
We've both done, like I've been in the kitchen before and worked in the kitchen. But we can relate. Even though we don't do the same thing, we just met each other today. We can sit down and have a conversation about random shit. It's not random. It's all targeted towards a certain thing. But just relating in general is like, that's what's beautiful about social media is that people can relate with each other from thousands of miles away. Yeah. Like instantly. So it's pretty cool. But it's almost like if you can't relate to something, you're super scared of it.
Yeah.
Like you don't have a way to relate, so you push it out. And I feel like that's what's going on a lot.
And I think too, when you're really passionate about a certain type of like way of farming and someone that may be doing better than you or selling more or just, doing the same as you, it's easy to be like, they're doing it the wrong way because you don't necessarily like that way, but that's for everybody to make their own decisions on.
Right.
I understand if they're, if someone's being deceitful and like, hey, they're actually buying their product from this commercial farm and rebranding it as their own. Yeah. But,
that's
or you're torturing your animals or something like that, I could see it, but just like making up lies or just saying, oh, the way they do it is wrong and we do it right. But that's, we like to just be proud of what we do and not compare it to other people. Right. And if you like it, great. If you don't, that's fine too,
right.
But yeah, I think you can get your food from 1,000 different places. And we're trying to make it as appealing to as many people as we can without having to put down other sources to,
I've never been a big fan of that.
Yeah.
I do approve of like whistleblowers and people that are like that do. I think there's a certain.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
You know what I mean. I don't know what the words are for it, but
Mm-hmm.
there's a need for that.
Yeah.
But a lot of times, man, it's always a stretch.
Mm-hmm.
I really like the setup you guys got here.
Thank you.
It's like open market feel, but it's not hot out here.
Mm-hmm.
Once you get past the sun line right there, it feels pretty good.
Yeah, I mean it can get a little toasty, but yeah, we have fans everywhere, and it can be challenging in the summer. Like we just had to typically we'll have some produce out. Like right now we'll have peaches, melons, tomatoes, but with the heat and bugs and everything, we've had to put everything in the refrigerators.
Right.
Which with peaches right now, they're at the end of the season, so they're coming in ripe, ready to eat. So them going in the fridge is fine.
You guys have peaches right now?
Yeah, there's some right in there.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, those are local. They're probably from Schuler Peach.
I look over the fruit all the time. My girlfriend still eats fruit though, and she loves peaches.
Yeah.
So I'll probably
Okay.
have to get some of those from you over there.
But yeah, we use Grow Foods a lot for our produce, so they're only getting
Grow
local.
Foods.
Grow Foods. It's a small local distributor around here, so not all, but a lot of the local farms will bring their produce to them, and then they sell it to restaurants and such. So they actually sell our eggs as well, but they come once a week and deliver like our Low Country Creamery milk we get, and they do yogurts and things like that. So we get that from Grow Foods, and then any of our produce, which is all South Carolina grown.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. So it's all local stuff. It's all semi-local to an extent.
Yeah, for the most part, everything we have here at the market is just artisanal, local stuff. I mean, not everything. Like we have cakes, cheesecakes, like all sorts of sweets and things that you can't eat. But it's so we have.
I was looking at that.
Yeah, a couple of friends of ours that are pastry chefs. They do all of this for us. And then we have our own chef that cooks out of a commissary kitchen that makes prepared foods.
The duck confit and stuff like that.
Yeah, she does that out of the commissary kitchen, and we do smoked pulled pork from
commissary, like at the base.
No, it's just like a kitchen we rent out. They call them commissary kitchens, but
a commercial kitchen.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But yeah, we have like Kiss Cafes, a restaurant here on Johns Island. They make their own bagels. So we sell their bagels here. Rio Bertolini's pastas right in Charleston. There's like Sarah's Dumps. She makes Asian dumplings.
Dumps.
Yeah,
it's
a funny name, but yeah, they're delicious. And then Marsh Hen Mill. We have all their grains.
What is that?
So Greg Johnsman's the owner, but he does some amazing stuff with like local, like heirloom grains. But yeah, he does grits. So he's part owner of Miller's All Day restaurants in Charleston.
I've heard of that.
So they're probably our biggest restaurant account for eggs.
Oh, really?
We actually have a egg centrifuge that we put in one of their restaurants, so you can just dump shell eggs in it, and it spits out liquid eggs on one side and the shells on the other side.
No shit.
So that's really been helpful to us because, being a smaller egg operation, you have small eggs, jumbo eggs, and, odds and ends eggs that are harder to sell. So we can sell them to them, and by placing that machine in there, it's mutually beneficial because their labor cost goes way down, and we're able to move these products that are sometimes a little bit harder to move.
Right.
But yeah, so that to answer your question, what was your question? What are grits?
Yeah, I was wondering what the Marsh Hen Mill.
Yeah, so
I didn't realize it was grits.
Yeah, so it's a lot of different things you see. Yeah, Midlands, brown rice, gold rice.
What's Midlands?
It's like from rice. It's like a portion of the rice. I forget. I'm not real in tune with exactly what it is, but it's
only half the rice.
Something like that. Yeah, it's rice, but it's a part of the rice.
Right.
During the milling process, I think it's a certain part that. Again, I don't want to misquote it. But,
no.
Yeah, but he
We're not professionals.
He raises a lot of different heirloom grains and has saved some from extinction and stuff. So he's really into that and works with Cornell.
The GMO ones
Clemson.
are the ones that are a problem.
Yeah, so all his are non-GMO. But Yeah,
That's
he
awesome.
does a lot of different things. But yeah, if you walk around, there's a lot of smaller local products. Like we do One Love kombucha, local coffees from Big Kick. Um,
Are
yeah,
those beers?
root beer.
Nice.
Yeah, but
Very
yeah,
awesome.
that I mean, it's not all local. You see, we have Coke and Fanta, and
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
Sprecher, and
So
but for the most part, I'd say 85-90% of what we sell here is all local.
right.
Mm-hmm.
And chicken?
Yeah, what's your take on that?
Chicken's really good.
Yeah. So, I never eat really any chicken but what we raise, so I'm not real in tune with how it compares to commercial, but
I'd say it feels slightly leaner,
mm-hmm.
but so much more flavor. Like,
Okay.
again, with how this kind of tasted buttery,
Mm-hmm.
once I hit the fat, it's like once you find the fat in there, there's not much in a chicken breast, but like
Mm-hmm.
once you find that fatty flavor,
Mm-hmm.
it's really, really potent. Like,
Okay,
it's very, very strong.
Yeah, like I said, they're more active. They have more space to go around, so they are going to be a little bit leaner. Probably have a little bit more texture to them than a.
But
commercial.
the goal on carnivore diet is to like eat fat for fuel because you're not getting carbs.
Yeah.
But what I've noticed is I thought that I just didn't like chicken because it's super lean, and I do think that is a thing, but I like this chicken.
Yeah,
I think it has more to do with how it turns out. Like, even though chicken's not very fatty, and I may be looking for fat, that doesn't mean I don't want to eat chicken.
Yeah.
I just don't think I want to eat chicken that's, for some reason, tastes weird in my mouth, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that typical chicken, like if I just go to the grocery store and buy chicken, I'm not going to like it.
Yeah.
I've got to get something local from you, from
Yeah.
Alex, from somebody who cares about the growth of the chicken.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think it's just all together going to turn out different. Because this is, it still tastes like chicken, but it tastes like so much more. Again, with the bacon, there's just more bacon in this piece of bacon. That's what it feels like to me.
I mean, I like to think, like our meat tastes like an animal. Sometimes chicken, it's like, it's hard to even think that it's like an actual animal that it comes from because it's very bland and textureless,
You usually got to season the hell out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's a very flavorful chicken. Mm-hmm. I still like beef more, but
yeah, I agree.
There's some really good chicken.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Especially this part of it because this is like the juiciest part of the piece I'm eating now.
Yeah.
But that pork chop, that should not. I mean, all of it's really good. The duck confit, it has like a sweet taste to it.
Yeah, I mean there is some sugar in the cure that they do.
Yeah.
So
I could see it. I could taste it a little bit in there because I could taste the sugarness, and I wasn't sure because I know duck eggs have like 5 grams of carbs, I think.
Okay.
Or maybe it's a gram of carbs. Duck eggs have carbs in them, where I think regular eggs don't.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
I'm not 100% sure, and I don't know. When it comes to nutrients and stuff, it's so like there's a 20% fluctuation you're allowed on those labels and stuff. So when I see one thing of Parmesan that says 0 carbs and then the one right next to it that says 2 carbs, I'm like, who's lying?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or who's wrong? So or
if it's actually Parmesan.
Yeah. Is it sawdust?
Yeah.
No. So I don't know. I look more at the actual product that comes out than I do the label. I look at the label all the time, but it's only so accurate.
Exactly. Yeah. And I don't know. I'm just throwing this out there, but like, from pig to pig, you're going to get differences in flavor,
your buffalo
quality.
To buffalo.
Yeah.
The fat was yellow.
Yeah. So
that's crazy.
Is the nutrient breakdown or density going to be the same? And how did they come up with that in the first place? I mean, is that company actually like sending it off to the lab, or are they just taking generic?
Now I'm at the point where I want to know what they actually do in the lab, because in the lab, to count calories, they just burn it.
Oh, really?
It's a heat measurement. All calories is a heat measurement.
Oh, really?
That's why calories in, calories out doesn't actually work.
Yeah.
Like when it comes to like it's a good rule of thumb.
Yeah.
If you eat 5,000 calories, you're gonna feel like you ate 5,000 calories.
Yeah.
But I can drink. There's no way. This plate I just ate was probably about 1,800 to 2,000 calories.
Yeah.
I can take a thing of heavy cream, what's that? A pint, a quart, like the taller container
That'd
of
be a
heavy cream.
quart, yeah.
Yeah, I can take a quart of heavy cream and I can drink it, and that's like 4,000 calories.
Yeah.
I can drink that in 30 seconds. It takes me like 30 minutes to eat this.
Yeah, for sure.
There's a difference there,
Yeah,
you know.
uh-huh.
And I'm not getting the same energy from this as I am from this.
Yeah, you probably just want to take a nap after.
Yeah, and a shit.
Yeah, exactly.
But
Yeah.
so calories in, calories out has never made sense, but it's a good rule of thumb to say like, hey, you ate a lot of fucking food.
Yeah.
Calories are just a measurement of heat that is put
Wow.
off when you like burn the energy.
Okay.
So it's not really super accurate as far as like, not for nothing, think about it like this. If you took 20 calories and I took 20 calories, we're going to spend those differently. There's no way that you spend them the same way I do. There's, I don't know how many years of difference between us, but just our age.
Yeah.
And then you got our size difference.
Yeah.
And then you've got our diet difference. I run on fat. You eat carbs. So that means that you're probably running on carbs until you get to fat. So our bodies just work different.
Yeah.
There's no way that this label can tell me whether or not I'm going to be fat when I get done eating this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's not how it works.
Exactly.
There's a lot that goes into it.
I think, yeah, it's a start. It's a, somewhat of an indicator. Yeah,
right.
But it's not exact.
I think of it as the Neanderthal way of explaining energy now.
Yeah, but I think, everybody's wired different. I mean, yeah, in working out, there's different body types, different metabolisms. And yeah, people are, have intolerances to things, allergies to things. So I wouldn't, help to think that your body is going to like do better with certain types of foods than another person's body does, or,
right.
This may be really good for your body and it's not as good for this person's body.
Differs from person to person. There's a gene called the MTHFR gene. They call it the motherfucker gene. Okay. And don't quote me, but it's something to do with having that gene makes it where you can't process folate, or you can't process folic acid. You have to actually have methylated folate.
Oh, really?
So folic acid is really important. As you know, folate's really important. If you have the MTHFR gene, then when you get folic acid, which is on everything that's enriched, like all the wheat and stuff like that, it has folic acid on it. And apparently that's why if you ask Gary Brecka, then he says that the reason why pasta makes you feel like shit when you get done eating it, and it doesn't over there in Italy, is because all of our wheat is enriched with folic acid and stuff.
Okay.
So like when I buy my girlfriend pasta, I buy her the Italian pasta. She's pregnant right now, so I don't need her getting any.
Yeah. Well, congrats.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Now I'm like, if you're not gonna just eat meat, you're gonna eat good shit. All right. Yeah. So that's why I look at all the other stuff too, because it's still important to me. The pasta and all that. Yeah. But the folic acid was, according to Gary Brecka, is the problem. So just the MTHFR gene, that's a genetic thing, and it's apparently 46% of people have that gene to where they can't really process folic acid, so they have a really hard time with wheats and grains and things like that.
Okay.
Because they're getting all this folic acid that their body can't process.
That makes sense. Yeah.
So I mean, when you put something in your body that it can't do anything with, what is it supposed to do with it? It's just going to force it out however it can. Yeah. It doesn't always get to, push it out the end you want it to. Yeah. Sometimes it comes out in pimples and stuff like that.
For sure.
Or blackheads. But just that alone is a genetic mutation that makes you respond differently to food than me. Yeah. So when it comes to how much energy you consume, like, oh, come on, man. We're just going to say that doesn't matter. Like, we're just going to say that it's not that serious, like when it comes to energy, I think there's a lot more to it.
Yeah, I'd agree.
But how much does it really matter? Just eat the food. If it makes you feel good, it makes you feel good. Feel too full, you feel too full.
Yeah, I think your body talks to you a lot,
right?
It does. Just listen to it.
It does. One thing, salt. I'm crazy about salt now. My body will tell me when it needs some salt. Yeah. If I taste some salt and it tastes sweet, if I put salt in my water and the water tastes sweet, I know I needed some salt.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's weird, but it's almost like my body was going, oh yeah, there you go, good boy, you're doing the right thing.
Yeah. It's rewarding you. Yeah.
Here's a little bit of glucose or something. So what you were working in the kitchen. You were a chef in the kitchen.
Yeah, I went to, I worked in restaurants since I was 14 years old, bussing tables, and then,
Okay.
got my first cook's job when I was in high school, and then got out of high school, went to culinary school, got my bachelor's in culinary arts, and then, worked in restaurants all the way up until moving down here in 2014. And I was working as a server in Kiwa at the steakhouse there.
Oh, nice.
While we were starting this up, which working at the restaurant I did in Chicago helped because, I don't know if you know who Sean Brock is. He started Husk Restaurant and McCrady's, which were, like some of the best restaurants in Charleston. So he came in with his chef de cuisine at the time, which was Dan O'Hines, which now has Vern's Restaurant. Right before we moved down, so they came in to eat, and I was their server, and I told them we had the land down here and we're starting to farm. So they're like, man, we will buy whatever you got. So we already had, Husk and McCrady's, which were arguably, some of the best restaurants here. And then my buddy moved down with me at the same time. He worked at the Ordinary. So we got eggs in the Ordinary and Fig.
I heard something about the Ordinary yesterday.
Okay. But yeah, it's a seafood restaurant. But yeah, really good. And they own Fig as well. So we got those two restaurants. So that's, four of some of the best restaurants. So then we would just go in the back doors of other restaurants. Hey, we got these guys on board.
Right.
And we were fortunate enough to start doing this when another local egg farmer stopped doing it. So there was a void. Wow. So we kind of hit up all the restaurants that we knew were using those. So that was super easy. Like, awesome, we have local eggs again. There was a couple other egg farmers that were just starting to get into it too, but we grew pretty fast and were able to lock in a lot of those.
Right.
So yeah, within, I don't know, I think 9-10 months, I was able to do this full time and get out of the restaurants. And we just kept getting more chickens and selling them. So it's been, upward trajectory for the last 11 years. So
nice.
Now we have 4 distributors now. And we have 2 more coming on board here shortly. And then we sell, we have full-time delivery drivers in the area as well.
Nice. Oh, yeah.
But yeah, it's been great. So,
what was I about to say? Shit. I had it on the tip of my tongue. Mm-hmm. I know it was about grocery stores. I can't remember what it was now.
Okay.
I don't remember.
About grocery stores?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I could kind of tell you, like, we don't sell to a lot of grocery stores because there's a lot of red tape behind it. A lot of the grocery stores require all of these certifications and things that, a lot of smaller farmers, it doesn't make sense to do. And a lot of it, I know we talked a little bit off camera about, the certifications and really how a lot of times they're not accurate of what they're representing.
Right.
But there's a lot of money involved in that and a lot of paperwork, which they can be good. But we haven't gotten a lot of certifications just because we haven't needed it, Right. But we sell to Earth Fare is like probably the only bigger grocery store and they have the ability to buy locally. So we do pretty well at the one in West Ashley, and we sell to a lot of smaller boutique grocery stores like Local Joe's or the Veggie Bin. And
I like Local Joe's.
Yeah, so we sell to a lot of places like that, or restaurants that have their own little retail section. A lot of those will carry our eggs in their retail coolers, which is helpful for us. Yeah,
that's cool. So you pretty much, because that's what I was trying to. I think we talked about this off camera, not on camera, but I was asking about your name on other people's. Could somebody else have their name on your eggs? And I think we talked about that before.
No, and not at this point. I don't really seeing that happening. I'm not ruling that out entirely. Yeah. We like growth. We like to continue.
If it is, you don't know about it.
Yeah, there's been like farms that buy our eggs and like package them in their own cartons, and
Yeah.
I've kind of known about it, which I don't really care. But
you're not
we're not
Eggland's best or something like that.
No, yeah. I mean, we're small enough to where, you know, if it's got our name on it, it's ours, and if it's somebody else's name, it's not ours, unless someone's just they may have a farm stand like this, and they do their own eggs, and they don't have enough of their own, so they'll buy a case of ours and put it in theirs, maybe.
Yeah, but nothing major like.
Yeah, exactly. Which I'm totally fine with that. I mean, I get it if eggs aren't your main staple, and you know, but I know of also other farms that they're transparent about it, where they'll buy our eggs and say, "Hey, we don't have enough of ours. We're using Storey Farms as well." You know,
right?
So,
no way you at least know.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
respectful.
Yeah, yeah.
That's respectful. I mean, either way, they're buying the eggs, but it's just nice to know.
Yeah, and you get that with restaurants and things too. I mean, I know, well, especially with this whole shrimp gate scandal that just happened with,
Shrimp gate.
Yeah, you haven't heard about that?
What?
So this independent company or something, they took samples from like 40 different restaurants that were claiming to use local shrimp and tested it in a lab, and like 3 of them were actually local.
No shit.
But I don't know all the details of it. That was in Charleston, yeah. So there's a lot going on, because a lot of these restaurants are saying, "Hey, we never claimed that we were selling local."
Right.
So I don't know. I mean, I won't get into that. But
Shrimp gate. That's so good.
But there's there's been instances in the past where, maybe a restaurant bought our eggs for a little bit, and then they didn't want to, that's when egg prices were really cheap, and they stopped buying our eggs, and then a year later you see on their menu that they're advertising that they're using our eggs. That's always going to be an issue in small local farming and stuff, which we haven't had too much of that. In the couple instances that it has happened, we said like, "Hey, can you take it off your menu?" And they agreed. A lot of times it's just like they don't want to revamp menus. Yeah, their menu is outdated, and they didn't think about it, or the person in the office, they don't know, so they just continue to write that on there.
Just literally takes you saying something like, "Hey, you guys don't use our eggs anymore."
Yeah, yeah. Especially like it's happened a couple times where you get like like we pride our yolks are super dark and stuff, and you'll get like someone tagged you in a post, and it's this like pale yellow like runny egg. It says Storey Farms. You're like, whoa, like where's this coming from? But it's only happened a few times. So.
Yeah, you guys have really, really like orange yellow yolks.
Yeah, mm-hmm.
They're pretty.
Yeah,
I like them. Mm-hmm. I want to say that night I cooked all 12. I think I ate all 12 at dinner.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I ate 6. I usually eat a steak and then 6 eggs for dinner. Mm-hmm. And then I'll eat like a pound of hamburger meat and 6 eggs for breakfast.
Wow.
And then like I'll snack in the middle of the day. I'll eat pork grinds, or like if I don't finish my steak, I'll take it as like a snack for lunch or something like that. But I usually only eat 2 main meals a day. Mm-hmm. And I eat a lot of fucking eggs.
Yeah, so I mean, that's impressive that you took that whole thing down.
Oh, yeah,
I mean, I can eat a decent amount of food, but I think
when it's meat, it's hard.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I mean, usually I'll have a nice piece of meat, but I'm eating, a vegetable and
it's a lot easier to
carbs
force
with
those
it.
down.
Yeah, but eating, especially like there's some fat in here, eating that much fat.
I'm fucking slurping it up right now.
Help yourself to whatever's on here too.
Oh, yeah. I'll eat. Shit, where was I going with that? I don't know. I know I can eat a lot of food.
Yeah.
I eat a lot of food.
Yeah, and like I said, there was a time when I was more into powerlifting and stuff that I.
All right, guys, so today's sponsor for the podcast is the Carnivore bar. These are a great snack for on the go. They're extremely shelf stable. They come in multiple flavors. They're great for gym fuel, and they've got 100% natural ingredients. You guys can save money on the Carnivore bars by using the code DRAKE. That's 10% on single orders and 20% on subscriptions. So you guys go get some Carnivore bars. Don't starve out there, all right?
I bet you're putting down.
Yeah, I could put a lot of food down.
I've actually gained. I was losing weight, and then I started gaining weight this last week or two because I've been eating ridiculous. Like, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
it doesn't make sense, dude. I told you about eating the 18 eggs and then the pound of bacon.
Yeah,
like what?
I remember, one time when I was, like I said, I never really cut all that much, so I was like pretty heavy and lifting a lot, and there was a steakhouse down the road from us in our house in Indiana, and they had prime rib, they had all these different size cuts. So they had a 40-ounce prime rib. So I ordered that, ate a twice baked potato, salad, a half a loaf of bread.
Holy shit.
And the server was just like, whoa, like he was kind of blown away. And he was like, do you want to even see the dessert menu? So I was like, yeah, why not? At this point, I was like, kind of like proud of myself.
Yeah,
and, like,
let's see if we can go.
So they had this mascot named Howie, was their like big cow, that like big plastic statue of a cow. And they had this dessert, which was like a triple chocolate, like had mousse, brownie, like dark chocolate.
Fully loaded.
Yeah, and it was huge. And like, so I ordered that. He's like, to go? And I was like, no, for here. And I ate that whole thing too.
Oh, yeah.
And it was just like, oh, like,
I bet you were
but
about to
that was
die.
like the most I ever ate. They actually had like the old 96, it was like a 6-pound challenge. If you ate the whole thing in an hour, you get it for free. I always regretted not doing that.
I was gonna say I'm kind of looking for one now that's just meat. Like I found one. I think it's at Hall's, but it's not like if you eat it, it's free. It's like if you eat it, you get a T-shirt, and it's still $160.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I was like, I don't know. I pay like $9 a pound for my meat right now.
Yeah.
So let me think about that for a little while.
Yeah,
But that's an expensive T-shirt
for sure.
But I want to try to find like a meat eating challenge or something, because the amount that I can put down is ridiculous.
Yeah,
because
yeah,
I can keep eating right now. I don't know how much more I could eat.
Yeah, that's impressive.
The bacon though, that's the helper. If you eat the day I ate the eggs, 18 eggs is so much.
Yeah,
so much,
that's a lot. Yeah.
I ate that. I was like, I'm gonna cook the eggs, and then I'm gonna cook the bacon. It was cow appreciation day.
Okay.
So we weren't killing no cows that day. It was just eggs and bacon.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm gonna eat the eggs first. I'm gonna cook the bacon, but I'm not gonna eat the bacon until I'm done with the eggs.
Yeah.
Because I know I'll start eating the bacon, and then I won't eat the eggs, because bacon's like candy. You can just cram that shit down. So I was like, I'm gonna eat the eggs first. Ate the eggs first, ate the bacon, crammed it all down. I was like, what just happened?
Yeah.
I got done eating, and I was like, I was looking for my food. I was like, there's more somewhere, right? Like I thought maybe I had some in the pan still.
Yeah.
No, man, I ate all of that shit. It was crazy.
It's impressive. Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know what to do with it all other than work out and try to do something with it.
Yeah.
I work in construction, so I get some physical activity, but it's got to go somewhere. So otherwise, I'm gonna get big.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, that's a lot of food. Trying to think. Are there any other things? I don't know if I had any other questions for you or anything. I didn't write down too many questions. I pretty much had most of my questions thought of.
Yeah.
I don't think I had anything else for you. As soon as we cut the camera off, I'll be like, oh, I forgot to ask him. Let's see, carnivore's cut. No, I only had 2 questions for you. And we already answered those. We're good. I think
All right,
we're good.
well, cool.
Yeah, I definitely appreciate it. The food was delicious.
Yeah, well, thank you.
That was delicious. Tell the chef regards are good.
Yeah.
No, but that duck confit, that knocked my socks off.
Yeah.
That was very different. It was all very, very delicious.
Good.
It's very different tasting. I do think the pork chocolate is my favorite though.
Yeah. Yeah. We take a lot of pride in our pork.
It shows.
Yeah. And that's the thing, there's a lot more science and involved in what we do with our eggs to do, because we do that on a lot larger scale.
Right.
And to be very consistent. So that's the most important part with our eggs. With pork, it's a little bit more kind of freestyle, where it's we just let the pig do its own thing.
Right.
They're eating eggs. They're in the environment we think they should be in, but it comes out amazing.
Consistency of eggs matters so much more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like for me, example, if I bought some of your eggs now, and then I bought some of your eggs a year from now, or 2 months from now, and I tried somebody else's eggs in between, I'd be like, these aren't like they used to be. I would notice it. I would notice the inconsistency. So just because it's such a piece of meat, that's going to differ from cow to cow so much more, or from pig to pig so much more.
Yeah. And eggs too. I mean, it's really hard to keep a consistent egg, because what a lot of people don't know is when chickens first start laying eggs, they lay like smaller eggs, and the shell is super thick, and like the protein structure is super tight, so they're going to lay the best quality eggs right away. And then as they mature, like the eggs will get bigger. You'll still have, so like the chickens that you saw back there, the younger ones, they're like in their prime right now because they're laying extra large eggs. Shell's still really thick. The protein structure is really tight. As they get older, you're going to start to get, they'll lay even bigger eggs, but like when you crack the egg in the pan, like the whites will become more runny. The yolk's going to be bigger, but like not as like high and tight, you
Right.
know.
And the shell
The
just
shell
literally
gets-
crumbles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, on a younger chicken, the membrane, you'll have like the thick shell, and then you know you crack it, and there's like that thick membrane under it.
Like duck eggs. Duck
Yeah,
eggs so
exactly. An older chicken, that membrane is kind of gone. Like if you crack it at all, it just will leak out. So you're always going through different cycles of, you know, of that egg. So like right now, you know, we have some like old chickens. So, you know, as consistent as our eggs are, there is inconsistencies
Right,
to a
right.
certain degree, because, you know, if you get some eggs from our younger chickens, it's going to be, I mean, I think the flavor and the yolk color and everything is going to be the same, but like, yeah, you'll notice. And if you buy our eggs consistently, you're going to see the life cycles of it. And if you know, if you kind of know what you're looking for, you'll be able to be like, oh, this is a really young chicken.
Yeah.
This one's a little bit older. A lot of local farms that do eggs on the side won't rotate out their chickens. So you'll notice, like, if you're buying eggs that are they're brown eggs, but they're like really lighter shells.
Yeah, those are the ones that break easy too.
Yeah, those are
Yeah.
old chickens.
That makes sense.
The shells almost
it's
get
more
like
runny,
yeah, those almost get like white shells. I mean, they're like light tan kind of shells.
It might be a pink if you would consider it that.
Yeah, there's like, you know, there's always a variance in shades in your eggs, but you know, you're typically not really going to get those from us because we'll get rid of those chickens when they get
Right.
that old. But you know, it is what it is. You know, it's you can't expect someone that's just doing a couple hundred chickens to rotate them out and do
Right.
different flocks. That's not their main staple. You know,
Right. So
so
that makes sense.
yeah.
I know that, like we were talking about earlier, I feel like a lot of people think there's some villain up there at the top, like,
Yeah.
like, no, we're going to poison your. It's not like
Mhm.
there's some guy at the top. The devil's not sitting there at the top going, do this, and do that.
Yeah.
It's just like a overtime, you know.
yeah,
things just kinda
it's a
develop that
double-edged
way.
sword. I get it, and I'm sure there is a lot of corruption. You know, I don't know, but you know, I think it is tough because I think a lot of laws are put in place for public safety. I mean, you know, like just the amount of eggs that we put out, it's like if we were doing things wrong, like you could hurt a lot of people, you know. So there has to be safeguards in place, but it's taken too far. I agree. A lot of times, and a lot of times it goes in the opposite direction where it's like, and it's stupid because
Right.
you have people sitting in the middle of a, you know, metropolitan city writing these laws that don't know what they're talking about.
Never seen
So
a
I
cow.
think there's good and bad with most things. You know, and I've learned throughout the year, you know, when I first started out, I thought all these rules and regulations were just ridiculous. But as I grow and you have, like, you know, a larger amount of animals and you have things that can happen and you see the scale that it can do, you're like, all right, well, I understand
Right.
why it is like this. But when you're just raising a few hundred chickens, you're like, this is the most ridiculous thing.
Right.
So I do think there needs to be, which there is, you know, in South Carolina, and each state has their own, you know, there's state regulations and then there's USDA regulations. So like
Right.
for egg laying chickens, for example, if you have under 3,000 egg laying hens, you're state regulated, which means you're really not regulated. You
Right.
basically just mail in a piece of paper saying you're doing everything right,
Yeah.
and that's it. And you get a license number. When you're USDA over that, you know, now you have to be, you know, FDA. You have to be registered with the FDA. You have the health department does have to do inspections, and you know we have quarterly USDA inspections, and they look over our eggs. And
Right.
so I think that's all necessary. We're not. I don't feel like we're overly regulated. But I think, you know, there is a lot to learn, especially for us starting out from the state level and then growing to where we are now and continuing to grow. It can be a little overwhelming because you're like, wait, I didn't know we had to do that, you know, because
Right.
there's not someone there like telling you now that you're at this level,
No.
do this. It's just, if you don't do it,
It's like
you're
that with
going
every
down.
business.
Yeah.
I own my own business with carpentry, and
Mhm.
like, there's nobody that tells you, hey, if you don't get this piece of paper signed and you have to have it notarized. If you don't get this signed and notarized, then we're gonna fine you $3,000. And you're like, what?
Yeah,
It's crazy.
It is crazy.
But then you come across the situations where you're like, oh wait, that's why they have that law, like gun laws. Like, there's a reason why there's CWPs and stuff like that. I feel like I was glad when they did like the open carry in Florida and stuff like that, but I was also like, well, what the hell? I went through the steps. I had to learn. Like,
for sure.
I would feel safer if everybody had to have a CWP to carry the gun, because I thought I knew. I thought I knew how to be safe with a gun, and then I take this class and I go, damn, I'm silly. So like, even when I thought I couldn't learn something from the class, I thought I was just going just to get my certification. There was stuff that I didn't know.
Oh, absolutely.
And I feel like it should be the same way with farmers, with construction workers. I feel like, honestly, there should be some kind of, instead of like subsidies, instead of the government's having their hands in the money of farming and stuff like that, and agriculture, or really with everything, even gun laws. I really feel like it should be, from state to state, everything should be different. Like,
I agree.
South Carolina should have their own laws for agriculture. You know what I mean? Where they can kind of think about the little guys.
Yeah, which they do to a certain extent. I mean, there are, state laws, there's federal laws, and a lot of times they overlap. But, and a lot of times they make stupid laws that don't make any sense. And some do. It's, there's good and bad with it all.
It's that one influenza outbreak that makes you go, oh, that's why I wasn't.
And that's a very controversial topic, too. And and I'm no expert on it, so I'm not going to sit here and like be very passionate about it, because it's funny. The position I'm in, I know a lot of people in the commercial side of eggs that do, millions and millions of dollars worth of, sales, and they're raising millions of birds a year. Their outlook on it, and an outlook on someone that's just raising backyard chickens, or are very like holistic side of things, have
two completely
different sides. So I see both of their opinions, and I see truths and things that I question in both sides of it. I don't really know. I mean, I do know that like, millions and millions and millions of birds are getting wiped out by this, and the majority of them are getting wiped out like in these mega complexes birds are in cages. They're like super biosecure, where like it's a sterile environment. You have to shower and suit up to go anywhere near these chickens, and they're getting the flu, but like backyard chickens are getting it at a much, much lower rate. So that makes you question things. They're like, well, a goose flew over and pooped in the fan and they were all infected maybe. But yeah, I think it's their immune system. I mean, if you're never exposed to anything and you're, but if your chickens are going outside and they're, they have higher immunities and they're dealing with, environmental changes and pollen and, just anything in the air, not one little thing is going to get them sick.
Their diet probably has a lot to do with it too.
I would imagine. Yeah. But again, I'm no expert on it.
Right.
I'm just crossing my fingers that I don't get hit with it.
It works.
But yeah, I mean, it is a scary thing, and it's it's something that like, if my flock got infected, I know like Joel Salatin, who's he's like at the forefront of doing things more organically and holistically, exactly. So I know his philosophy on it, which I, really tend to agree with a lot, is that, like, if your flock gets infected with it, like, why kill them all? Like, the ones that don't die will be more immunoresistant. You can breed those. I get that side of it, but then I also kind of get the fact that, like, the feds think, like, well, these all have to be killed because we don't want to risk every other farm in, like, this wiping out the entire egg population. So it's like you see both sides, and you kind of see, well, if you did let the flocks go through it, then maybe we could get over this altogether instead of going through this every year.
It's almost like COVID.
Yeah, exactly. It's and who really knows like all the truth on that? I mean, they're probably birds of a feather. Yeah, I'm sure. And is there 100% a right way or wrong way? I think you're going to get negative outcomes on
Either
either
way.
side and positives. Which is better? I don't know. I mean, it's the government way to be like, no, kill everything you got, and
that just seems so wasteful to me.
it does. And I mean, it would be catastrophic for me because I think, it could potentially sink my business, but also like having to put down
Waste all
it's just such a shame and it's a waste. And I hate to see.
What would you would you just bury all the chickens?
Yeah, I
You
mean,
don't want anything
they
to
come
eat 'em.
in and like, I mean, when you have a larger farm, you have a like waste management plan that you have to have and take classes on it. So your farm has to have like a mass burial site on there. We have an incinerator on our farm, which that can only do 500 pounds at a time. So you're not going to do your whole flock in that. So you'd have to do like a mass burial. But also, those houses have to sit vacant so that, virus is dead before you can, and you have to
Even put
sanitize
anything
it
in
and
there.
do. So it's a whole, the feds are going to step in and kind of take over if something like that happens. So it's a position no farm wants to be in,
And influenza is the flu essentially, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So
is that bird flu or swine flu?
that's bird flu.
Bird flu.
Yeah. Which, a lot of, fortunately here in South Carolina, we don't have many outbreaks of it. It typically happens in the colder states, just like the flu, in the Midwest, Iowa, like New York, Pennsylvania, they've gotten devastated. Indiana. I think in South Carolina this last year, I don't think there was any. I think there was a couple backyard flocks that tested positive for it, but there's really not a lot of egg production in South Carolina.
Really?
I think as far as like a South Carolina-based company, I think we are the biggest. Like Cal-Maine, which is the biggest egg company in the country, they have some facilities here. And there's some other, but there's other states, even North Carolina does a lot of eggs. The most egg production that comes out of South Carolina is for breeder purposes. So hatching eggs for broiler houses.
Really?
Yeah. All the farms that we have were previously breeder houses. So you'd have roosters and hens, and then all those go to hatcheries.
Nice. So
So
you just converted those.
We've
over to
converted
egg
them to
layers.
table eggs. Yeah.
Nice.
So those are white birds that are they're huge birds and they're
The meat birds.
yeah.
The white ones are the meat ones, and there's also white egg layers there.
Yeah, so like white chickens lay white eggs typically, and that's
I
why.
always thought that was bullshit.
Yeah, well, it's not necessarily. I mean, there's white chickens that lay brown eggs. There's just different breeds of chickens lay different color eggs. So typically, in a grocery store setting, if you see a white egg, it's going to be from a white leghorn. It's the most cost-effective chicken for eggs.
Right.
So it's a very small chicken. They're significantly smaller than our brown chickens.
Oh, okay.
And if you notice in a grocery store, typically a white egg is going to be a little bit smaller than brown eggs.
A little bit smaller.
But those are the most efficient egg layers. So they're going to lay more eggs than a brown chicken, and they're going to consume less feed to produce an egg.
Gotcha.
So that's typically why, and the perception of like a white egg is
Cleaner,
cheaper,
yeah.
And less quality, which I could take those white chickens and put them in the environment that I have and give them the same feed, and the quality should essentially be the same. You might have a little bit smaller of eggs, but typically that's just kind of how they're raised.
So the color of the eggs doesn't necessarily
not
matter?
necessarily,
Okay.
but it typically, white eggs are raised in cages with really low quality feed. There's cage-free white eggs too, but just like any commercial grocery store cage-free egg. Oh, she harasses me for chickens and. All right. Yeah. Can you? She's not back there. Okay. Yeah. Can you come back a little later, or maybe in an hour or so? Like in an hour? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So that's the downside of selling old chickens. You have people showing up at all times of the day.
Oh, they're here for the
Yeah.
whole batch.
So they usually have they buy live chickens, butcher them on their back porch
Yeah.
and sell them to other Hispanics. And
Yeah, I've heard that from other farmers.
yeah. So I mean, it's a good little side hustle, but like Christmas morning, they'll be honking on your driveway. You know, like, and you tell them till you're blue in the face. Between 8 and 1 p.m. there'll be someone here.
Huh?
And then they come here at 1:30, or you know, it's like, my phone's been just blowing up. Like,
Really?
from her? Yeah,
Oh,
she'll call 15 times in a row.
I wasn't sure if she understood you or just now when you said an hour, she was like, ah.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's a
shit.
crapshoot whether she does. You know, she might think tomorrow. She might think, but yeah. What was I saying before that? I don't know. Oh, the white chickens.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just you get it's just the breed of chickens. So essentially, like if the feed they're getting in the environment, it's not going to affect the quality. Like that egg is going to be the same
Right.
quality.
You can still get white eggs that have the same quality as brown eggs.
Yeah.
But most typically, the white eggs growing or raising practices, or the practices they use to raise the chickens, are just poorer, lower quality.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
The white chickens are typically what you'll see in caged
Right.
setups.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That's why, because I noticed that, like, I feel better with brown eggs. I feel
Mhm.
fuller. I can eat more of them. I actually want to eat them. Not that I don't want regular white eggs. It's
Mhm.
just I just noticed that they just don't hit the same. You know?
Okay.
And the
Yeah.
yolks will be way more yellow. They won't be
Mhm.
like orange. That's what
Yeah.
I look for first. Is like when I crack that yolk, I want that.
Yeah, and I think sunlight has a lot to do with it too. You know, even cage-free eggs. That I mean, most of the houses like they don't see they don't see daylight ever.
just stay in the
you know?
house.
Yeah, and like not getting fresh air. It has to affect the quality of the egg.
Right.
You know.
It affects me when I don't get sunlight. so
Yeah,
I'd
exactly. And like I said, you know, like you can tell just by looking at the chicken by what their comb. Is it pale and floppy, or is it bright red and sticking up and
Right.
smaller?
Which you said, if it's bright red and sticking up, that's good. That's
That means they've gotten sunlight. That's just my way of like, if I'm, you know, if you see a chicken, you can tell like that chicken's seen sunlight and been outdoors or not, you know.
That's your go-to way of knowing whether or not. Yeah.
Exactly. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of science behind eggs and all that goes into it. But yeah, as far as like the color of the yolk, the color of the shell, it's strictly the breed. There's not many chickens that lay white eggs. Most chickens lay a brown egg. But there's white chickens that lay brown eggs. You can more or less, the best indicator to know is their earlobe. On a brown laying chicken, it'll be like a reddish color, like a, and then on a white chicken or a white colored shell, their earlobe will be white.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
And you know, there's chicken that
doesn't matter what color the bird itself is.
Exactly.
It's like the earlobe.
If you look at some of those roosters out there, you'll notice they'll have like kind of different color lobes that might, you know, and some breeds of chickens lay a much darker shell than others, that even though they're brown egg layers. But yeah, that's the biggest indicator, which that's not always 100%.
Oh, really?
You just kind of have to know the breed and what color shell they lay. Yeah, but there's Easter eggers, they call them, which lay blue eggs, green eggs.
Yeah, I've heard different.
Yeah,
I've heard different things about different chickens laying different. That's why I was wondering, like, is it a white egg or a white chicken and a brown chicken? Because like I've seen, you know, I've had tons of buddies who had chickens, and different colored chickens all lay brown eggs. You know, when they have, I never see anybody have white eggs.
Yeah, there's only a few breeds of chickens that lay white eggs.
Yeah.
And typically like a white leghorn is a commercial chicken. So like if you're getting some chickens from Tractor Supply or a hatchery, like you're not going to order a leghorn. That's kind of like,
you need a Banny rooster or something. Yeah. Isn't that I think that's
Bantam is like they're like a little breed
ones.
of chickens. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, typically like a backyard chicken, you're going to get like a Orpington or a Barred Rock or Rhode Island Red, or you know, those are like kind of heritage breed chickens that are like good egg laying, like backyard type chickens.
Pretty. You get a gamecock or something.
Yeah, yeah. Or sometimes from hatcheries, you can just get like an assortment. Which when I was a kid, that's what I did. It was always fun. Would bring them to 4-H and like, you know, I would study the different breeds and what they're supposed to look like. And you'd even like, oh, this little feather isn't supposed to have a white tip on the end. You'd snip it off and you get judged at the fair. And, you know, it was fun. Yeah.
So you did the chicken shows and stuff like
Yeah,
that?
when I was younger, yeah.
When you
We'd take
first
them to
started
the-
with this, or like before this?
No, when I was a kid, like in elementary school,
Oh, okay.
in
Playing around with
4-H.
it. Yeah.
And that's kind of what
4-H.
oh, you haven't heard of 4-H? It's a organization. I don't know what the 4-H stand for, but it's a clover, and it's like 4-H, but it's a organization that's for like young
Trades.
farmers. Like it's for young farmers. So it's like when you go, which is different down here. I'm used to like in Indiana, the county fair. Everybody brings all their animals and they're judged and all that. They don't really have that here in South Carolina or Charleston anyway. But it's all part of like 4-H. So that you go to, it's kind of like Boy Scouts, but for farming.
Yeah.
So you go to like a club and like, you can sign up for different things. So I was like into chickens. So you learn about like the anatomy of a chicken and the anatomy of an egg and then the different breeds. And then, when the fair comes around, you would like take chickens to the fair in like different categories, like egg laying breeds or meat breeds or, exhibition, like, or like, and then you'd have like, and then you get trophies or ribbons in first place, second place, champion. But that's all through 4-H program.
I've been to one before. Where did I go to one? I went to one here in South Carolina. It was some kind of they had like a chicken show where you could rate them and stuff. They had some expensive fucking chickens. Like $3,000 chickens.
Oh, really?
I was like, what?
Yeah, I've never gotten into that.
I couldn't imagine paying that much for a chicken.
No,
like you couldn't give me enough eggs.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Is it those chickens that are like jet black?
Well, it's just the real slick, real pretty looking ones. I mean, I think some of the ones out there look pretty.
Yeah, they are. I mean, like roosters are all beautiful.
I think they're all pretty.
Yeah, with all the different feathers and stuff.
But these guys were like prissy.
Yeah,
like they were. Yeah. They were bedazzled.
Which there's a lot behind it. I remember, we used to have to like dip them in, like, because you can't bring them there if they have any mites or parasites. Which outdoor chickens, you're probably gonna have some mites and I don't have a problem here. But up in Indiana, they'd always have lice. It's a different type of lice than humans get, so you don't have to worry about contracting it. But they get like on like their rear end, like the feathers, they'd have like eggs, and it's like looks like crystals. So you almost have to like cut them off. But when you take them to the fair, they'd inspect them, and if they had any lice eggs, you couldn't bring them in. So you'd have to like delouse them and put them in glycerin to make their feathers shiny, and you'd like extra stuff. Shine their nails.
So that's why they're so shiny.
Yeah,
I mean they're normally oily and shiny, but like
but we would have all these dip tanks and like you do a lot, and you would like oil up their comb and their wattle to make it's a whole thing. But people bring horses and pigs and all that.
Would you say that was your early love? Finding for
it was. I know when I was a young kid, my dad had some chickens and stuff when like before I was born, or maybe when I was like an infant. And I'd see pictures of it, and I'd be like, I want chickens. Because we had a few acres growing up, but like we didn't have a farm. My father and I would always we'd plant potatoes and some. He still does. Raises a lot of his own vegetables that he eats. But I always like really wanted chickens. So I think when I was in 4th grade, I convinced him to build me a chicken coop. Nice. And then like all through elementary school, it was all my own. I took care of it all myself. Like I think I had 60 chickens and some turkeys.
Damn.
And then I'd sell eggs to like the neighbors. And I did that through high school. And then when, went to college and moved away, then I stopped. And then my dad got rid of them. And then I just got really burnt out over the years working in restaurants and like not having much of a life outside of that. So, at the restaurant I worked at, I think the what really sparked it was I was part of a pheasant hunting club, and I would bring in pheasants for him, and he would like do these crazy presentations and serve it to like these top class chefs from throughout the world. And the chef that I worked for was in Time magazine for one of the 100 most influential people of the year. Oh, wow. And the picture of him in Time magazine was him holding up this pheasant that I had shot and brought in for him.
Nice.
And then I would see these farmers come in the back door with this like, beautiful products. And then they'd be like, you need to try this new dish we're using your product on. And I was just like, I want to be that instead of like this person trapped in here, serving everybody. I want to be the person that can go out to eat on the weekends instead of being stuck in the restaurant.
Right.
And I love outdoors. I love animals. So I'm like, it kind of was like, it was
calling you.
Yeah. So it worked out great, and everybody doubted it. Like especially being in Chicago, I'm like, I'm going to move to South Carolina and start a farm. And everybody was like, you're crazy, dude.
Yeah,
Like,
it sounds crazy. When you say it,
especially because I'd only like visited here. I've never even like,
oh yeah, so you were fucking loony.
Yeah, I didn't know, but I was like, I also knew like worst case scenario, I would live in a place that I want to live in, and I have the same type of job that I had up there.
They're probably sitting there thinking like, this dude's never even seen an alligator.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, like I said, the food scene here in Charleston and throughout South Carolina is like super supportive of local. I know when we first started, like telling people from Indiana, like I'm in Chicago, like selling restaurants eggs for $4 a dozen. They were like, "What? You can get a dozen eggs for $1 here?" Up there at the time, nobody. It was all price driven. It was like nobody really thought there was a difference. An egg is an egg. I can get that. I can go here and get this for that price. But here, they were like really analyzing the quality of it, which was something. Even in a super high end fine dining restaurant, like you don't really see. Like you just got white eggs, like because there wasn't anything else available. Chicago is. I think in the last 10 years, it's become more like food driven, like quality driven, and like smaller farms. But you have this huge metropolitan area, and then you go 2 hours outside of it, you get to farmland, but it's just corn, wheat, soybeans, and that's it. There's only one growing season, but like there's only one growing season. So you're here where it's like you're growing root vegetables in the winter, and you're growing there's seasons for everything. There it's like you start your seeds in a greenhouse when it's still frosting outside, and then you put it in the ground, and then you harvest it in the summer or the fall, and that's it. Yeah, you might have like something that you put in early summer because it could frost any time in the spring, and then you have stuff that you put in the summer and you harvest in the fall. So it's hard to be a small like produce farmer unless you just do one or two crops.
You'd have to do major. You'd have to do major volume to be able to deal with the off time.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just a different kind of area there, but it definitely really suited us well for what we were doing, and like it shocked me how easily we could sell. Like at first I got 500 chickens, and like to me I was like, this is crazy amount of chickens. Yeah, and then we sold all of those right away, and then like I got 1,000 more chickens, and then those eggs were accounted for, and then it's just been like a growth. And then as we've grown the last few years, it's gone from 6,000 chickens to tens of thousands, and it's just the growth has been exponential and still.
And what year did you say that you started? I think
we started this in 14.
14.
Yeah, so we've been doing it for about 11 years now. Yeah, we moved down here August of 14, so it's almost 11
That's pretty
years.
good. You guys have got a nice establishment for 11 years. So.
Yeah, so we started out with the eggs, and then, you as a farm, it's scary because if something happens to your one product, you need, another local farm told me that had been doing it for a lot longer.
Don't put all your eggs in one basket.
Yeah, kind of. He said, like, I think of farming as like a table, and the more legs you have on that table, the more stable you are. Oh. So if you just have one product, like, that's scary. So we're like, all right, well, we raise chickens, so let's raise meat chickens. So then we did that, and then it was like, yeah, we have broken eggs too. Like, let's raise pigs to eat the eggs, and then that became another product. And then also I'm just passionate about products, so I like experimenting around. Like, in the last year we started raising lambs, so we're still in like the kind of development process of that, but basically, I think when you have pasture, let them be on that, and that's as good as it can get. In the winter, we'll feed them hay and a little bit of grains. And
I don't know how you look at it, but I feel like my buddy Steve owns some property, and I think he kind of feels this way too. It's like, because he started like with plants, and then he got I want to say he got like 4 or 5 chickens. Yeah. And now he's got like 20 or 30 chickens. He's got 4 or 5 pigs. He's got goats and turkeys. Yeah. It just started with one thing, and you go to the Tractor Supply, and they got chickens on sale, and you're like, well, shit, I got room for it. Yeah. It's almost like you have the space for it. You feel bad that it's not being used for that. Yeah. Because you have all this land, and you're like, man, I could have a whole cow over there.
Yeah, exactly. And it kind of, it can be intimidating. Like, oh, I don't know how to raise a cow. But then you do one thing, and you're like, well, It's not,
Right.
we'll try this, and then we'll try that. And there's certain things like that we've tried, and we're like, this doesn't really make sense. You know,
Right.
like we've tried for so long to like do duck eggs on a larger scale. It just doesn't work. Like
No?
we can have, you know, and we don't have many ducks right now, but we found like, all right, if we have 50 ducks that lay eggs, like we have a few little places that'll buy some half dozens a week, and we sell some here, farmers market, but like raising any more than like, you know, 50, 60 ducks doesn't make sense. And really, even with that, I mean,
Got
with
too
what
many
we're
eggs.
doing, yeah, you just don't, there's not a lot of people that are going to buy, you know, for example, every single restaurant, no matter what type of restaurant you are, you're probably going to use 15 dozen eggs a week,
Right.
you know, but a duck egg, unless you're making like all your pastas out of duck eggs, or, you know, you could do one appetizer that has a fried duck egg on the top, but you may only sell 15 of those appetizers a week.
Right.
You know, you're going to get a flat or two of duck eggs. But chicken eggs, everybody uses chicken eggs, you know.
I will say, I tried, I don't remember whose duck eggs they were. I think they came from Local Joe's.
Okay.
Which
Which they may have been ours. We were selling to them for a while. The
Could
label
be.
looks totally different. We just print out a label, so it looks, or it could have been Circle. I forget the
Circle
name.
something.
Yeah, there's a farm on Johns Island, close to our warehouse, that does some duck eggs too.
I think that's, I want to say it was Circle something. That sounded,
Yeah,
sounded
that's
familiar.
probably. It has like a red barn on the logo.
I want to say so.
Yeah.
I tried those duck eggs,
Mhm.
and I think that was the first time I tried duck eggs. I tried a goose egg from Chucktown,
Okay.
and that thing was huge.
Yeah,
That is a
they're massive.
fucking egg.
Yeah, our one goose will lay 15 eggs or so a year.
That's huge.
And like, yeah, it's always, you know.
But the that thing was delicious.
Mhm.
But the duck eggs were so yummy.
They're
They
so
were really
rich.
hard to crack, but they were
Yeah.
so
The even the white, it's almost like, I'm sure they're great for you. Like a lot of people, like even to me, it's almost too rich to eat just as like a fried egg. But like baking with them is amazing. Like how much it
I
makes
didn't
it.
think
Like,
about that.
yeah. But like, yeah, the yolk, like, you know, if you eat it over easy and you like, you know, crack the yolk open, it like hardly runs because it's so thick and it coats your mouth. It's almost a little overwhelming, you know.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
I love it. That's
I'm
what I was
sure
about to
for,
say.
you know,
I
your
would love
diet,
some
that would
duck
be
eggs.
perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's got to be more nutrient dense too. I was
yeah.
like, man, there's got like, I just feel like this egg is so much more full of stuff than this egg.
Mhm.
It was, and when I cracked the shell too was another indicator, like that membrane. Being
Yeah,
so
membrane's super thick
thick. I
on
was
them.
like, holy shit! Is
Yeah.
it like that all the time?
But yeah, it's like, you know, we originally, my plan was to do quail eggs on a larger scale.
Oh,
So we did quail eggs, but again, that's another thing that's like a niche market.
Yeah.
Where like even someone that has a quail egg on the menu, like, give me 2 dozen this week, like, because you're just doing one egg on one thing. You're not like cracking a bunch of them. So we did quail eggs for a while, but it's like, and it was profitable because you could charge more for a dozen quail eggs than you can chicken eggs, and they lay just as many eggs, if not more, than a chicken.
Honestly,
but
that's the only reason I don't buy them, because they're
Yeah.
really good.
yeah,
really, really.
yeah, they are.
I just can't get full off of them. Could
but-
you imagine me trying to?
Yeah,
eat
one
like
time my
this, I'm
son
like-
wanted a quail egg omelet, and I did like several dozen eggs, and it still made like the
little
smallest
peanut.
omelet. Yeah, but you know, it's, you don't want to get stretched too thin, or we have
right.
a lot, and it's like, yeah, it's profitable, but like if we can't sell 1,000 dozen a week, it doesn't really make sense
Right.
for the amount of work that you have to put into it. And our egg washing machine, you can't do quail eggs through it, so it's like you got to wash. And even duck eggs, like ducks are laying eggs in the dirt and the mud, and they're white, so like we have to hand scrub every single duck egg. Well, we can run them through our machine, but they're still going to look like stained and
dingy.
So there's just a lot of work. So we don't really make any money off of it. But there's certain things that we do that we know we're not really making money on, but we enjoy doing it.
Right.
You know, so it's just finding
Do it
the
for the love
balance.
of it.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
I feel that with carpentry. There's some things where I'm like, I know I'm not making any money on this, but it has to look right. It's got to look right. If I don't, man, I'll feel like shit for it.
Yeah, and it's part of your like full image, and even like this market, you know, it's not the most profitable thing, but it's a good image for us, and it's a good way for people to like, oh, how can I get your product? Like, you know, just come down to the market, or you know, we're at the Saturday, you know, So it's a good way because we typically just deliver to restaurants and places like that. We don't do, which we would like to get into more like, you know, home deliveries or pick up like a meat box.
Right.
We haven't gotten there yet, but we would love to. But this at the moment is a good way to be like, yep, come Tuesday through Saturday. We have everything you want, you know.
Yeah.
And if you want something special, you know, we can bring it down there.
Have you guys thought about the farmers market?
We do the Sea Island Farmers Market on Saturdays. We do great at that. We've tried other markets in the past, and
Tried Mount Pleasant?
we thought about doing that. And it's just like the manpower to get there and like do it all. We just haven't pursued it.
How much is it actually worth it?
Yeah, it's again, you know, it's tempting, but it's like you can't be everywhere at once.
And
then
you can put the work in here too.
yeah, and just to like, because now you need someone that's gonna like load up all the coolers, take them there, sell it, bring it back. It's a full day, you know, and then unless you have someone that's like their full-time job is just doing farmers markets, now you have to find someone or myself to like, now they're doing that once a week.
Yeah.
So that's like, it's just, the Saturday market works out well. Like Bob that works full-time here, he does that once a week, and that's, you know, it's good. It's a way for him to be able to socialize off the farm.
Right, right.
But it's also not like a huge time-consuming thing. It's right here on the island. So yeah.
I got you. Well, I ain't gonna take up too much more of your time.
Yeah, no worries.
I know we were gonna call it a little while ago.
Yeah.
We'll go ahead and call it now.
Yeah.
We had some delicious food.
Mm-hmm.
Talked about a couple good things. So, what else I want to say? Oh, go ahead and plug the company and stuff like that.
Yes, we're Storey Farms, right here on Johns Island, but we have operations now in Clarendon County as well as Charleston County, and we're expanding into St. George, which is in Dorchester County. So we're closing on another farm here next month. That'll be for more egg production. But yeah, come down to our market here on Betsy Carson Parkway, Tuesday through Saturday, 9:30 to 5:30. We have all of our products as well as a ton of other local artisanal products. Yeah, it's been nice having you out. I appreciate it. Yeah, appreciate the appreciation for our products as well.
Yeah, this shit was delicious, man. You do good work.
Well, thank you.
You're a good farmer.
Yeah,
approved.
Appreciate it.
But thank you guys. Appreciate you guys tuning in. See you all in the next episode.
Sounds good. All right. Well, thanks a lot. Yeah.
All right. Now.